Hello there everybody, this is Tigitar here, and welcome back to another episode of Tigaria. Got a quick update here. I'm assuming this won't be a terribly long video, but I do want to show off the progress that I have made on the storage and the crafting areas that I have been working on right below the center of the base here. So let's just drop right down here. First of all, this is the future crafting area. I have just finished placing all of these walls here and filling it in. So it's all background walls, other than a bit of actuated blocks where this middle column has come up in the center here. So most of it is good area where I will be able to pack as many crafting stations and functional furniture items as I can. So one of the next things I'll be doing is doing some testing on what the range is for reaching different crafting stations and how to make it as efficient as I can to place all those in here. But I got the walls all done. Down below here, the next thing I will have to do is get the chests organized and figure out how I want to section up the entire storage room here. So I've finished all of the background walls, and I've also done all of these columns in here that support the ceiling and break it up into sections. Overall, these columns have a pretty dark gray color, but it's mostly painted white actually. But the darkness comes in because I've used so many actuated blocks so that I could add unique shapes and textures to the columns themselves. I have 3 purple ones in the center here to support the purple crafting area that's going to be there, and then the rest of them are green so that they flows into the green energy that supplies the rest of the base up above. So for these columns, I layered background wall with blocks on top so that I could get the most color and texture and stuff in the smallest amount of area. So I started with the walls. I have unpainted smooth marble walls and then the gemspark walls. Then there is white painted Luminite brick wall and white painted crystal wall in these midsections here around this darker diamond shape. And let me zoom in and then you'll be able to see a lot better. This should be a lot nicer. The outside walls are mostly white painted smooth granite wall. So that kind of takes up most of the perimeter of these columns. And then on top of that, I place the blocks. So a lot of it is Luminite brick, and then the rest is pretty much all crystal blocks that are all painted white, with the exception of these 2 darker diamond-shaped blocks. This is actually gray painted sandstone blocks, just regular sandstone, because it has this sort of uneven diamond shape when you place them connected to each other like that. The outside right here is crystal blocks, and then in the center here, these actuated are the Luminite bricks. And there's a few crystal ones in the middle as well. And then there's Luminite bricks in the center surrounding this glowing piece of gemspark, and then 1 full brick in the top and bottom here, whereas the middle 4 are all hammered to face outward kind of. If you examine on the map, you can kind of more easily tell how the blocks are sectioned up. So this lightest gray is the crystal that's painted white, and then in the center these 2 are actually that sandstone that's painted gray, and then we have the darker gray is the Luminite, and then this darkest gray is actually the white painted Luminite wall that's behind there. So that is the first column design, and I actually went with 2 different columns. So I have the 7 block wide here, and then a 5 block wide design here that uses all the same blocks and the same palette, but I just sort of arranged them in a little different pattern to change it up a bit. So I have those spaced throughout the storage system, and between each of these columns is enough space for 10 chests. So here's kind of the layout that I'm thinking of, is 5 chests in 2 columns in each of these sections. So that'll give me plenty of space to pack chests in and organize them and section them up and stuff. So that's how I'm planning on doing that, but I'll have to work on laying that out next. The background walls here between the columns are all painted black except for this deep green starry wall that I got from the painter. And then in the center is actually purple rain wallpaper, and this is now painted black. This is actually waterfall block in the middle here to add a little bit of animation, And then we have smooth granite here on either sides of the starry wall. And then the brick on the outside is black painted ebonstone brick walls. Up in the crafting area up here, I kind of continued these walls upward to sort of make it flow together a little bit more. In the center column, I just ended up bringing up partway into the storage room and then sort of capping off. The rest of the walls in the crafting area up here, all this black is actually black painted blue starry wall that you can make out of stars and glass at the crystal ball. In the center, there's also some black painted waterfalls, and then the rest is basically just the purple gem spark. This oblong flattened oval here in the middle, I think I might end up switching out. Right now it's just violet painted sandfall walls, but I think I don't like it that much. I might try out a gold or maybe a bright white silvery color block instead. Next up is going to be basically filling in all the chests and all of the crafting areas in the middle. This is... I feel like this has taken way longer than I expected it to, although things sort of tend to do that, you know? This column design I really had to pay for in time. And oh yeah, I guess what was even more tricky was figuring out the tops of them and how I could make a somewhat consistent pattern that I could blend it into the ceiling with. I think it all ended up pretty good here. It took a lot of time and a lot of hammering and a lot of really looking at these tiny details to try to get it all symmetrical and stuff. And then up here, these radiating purple lines also took me quite a while to do, and it was a bit tricky to figure out. So this is actually sort of an interesting problem that I came across here doing this. I wanted to make these lines radiating out from the center and then intersecting. Basically, I wanted to have these lines leaving the center point horizontally and then intersecting this semicircle here at a perpendicular angle. So this first one was easy. I could just generate the oval using the pixel circle generator online. So I had the height from here to here. That was super easy. And then the width from here to here. And that was automatically coming out at a right angle because this point right here is actually basically the bottom of this circle if you were to put it together against this one. So I had that one easy, but the rest of them got pretty tricky. So what I ended up going with is a fixed height. So I fixed the height at just taller than this first oval here. And then as I went outward, I just generated ovals with a width that I sort of imagined ending down here for this first line, down here for this next one, and so on. You can see, though, as we got out towards these last few, the oval got exponentially wider than these first ones did. So I was not working with even increments or intervals, and so it made it a bit tricky, and there was a lot of trial and error. But this is sort of what it ended up with, and I am pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty cool. Unfortunately, we're going to cover a lot of it up with crafting stations and that, but I think it will still keep its general feel, which is what I wanted. So that's where we stand now. Next, I will just have to work on figuring out the chest layout and the crafting station layout, and honestly, that is going to take a lot of time as well. It's going to be a lot of... It's not even going to be that much recording, a lot more sketching out different organization plans and things like that. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update video. The song of the episode is going to be Nothing Beats Like a Heart by the Midnight and Escape Plan. Be sure to check that one out. If you're interested, you can check out the Discord as well. There should be a link down below. Other than that, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I hope you have an outstanding rest of your day.